Tonight on Red Eye.
Coming up on Red Eye, how bad does James Franco not want to be in Seth Rogen's next movie? Shocking footage suggests this longtime friendship may be over for good. Plus, does the vice president think Anna Kendrick is really an alien from another galaxy that should be locked up and studied?
For 25 years, it's been free. It's long past time. And it can be done because, no, I'm serious.
And finally, has the war between UPS and FedEx gone too far? We'll investigate reports that the world's most vicious turkey has been hired to take out enemy delivery men. None of these stories on Red Eye tonight.
And now, let's welcome our guest. Well, she spends all her time covering college students. I do too, but I'm the only one on a flyer. I'm here tonight with campus reform reporter Katherine Timpf. The P is silent. Well, she's back from vacation, and by vacation, I mean a failed attempt at sobriety. It's Joanne Nosuchinsky. Her P is never silent. And I've known him for 7 years, which explains this horrible itch. It's TV's Levy. And you may have seen her on O'Reilly. Now you'll get to hear her talk. Sitting right next to me, Mary Katherine Ham. 3 names. Fox News contributor and hot air editor at large.
A-Block. The lead. That's the first story.
Your humor is like the sound of a dog whistle, Greg. It goes mostly undetected, but those who get it cover their ears.
Oh, wow. They went from overjoyed to unemployed. A video from the South Dakota College Republicans, or SWSR, shows millennials' ecstasy at President Obama's election in 2008, followed by their disillusionment and difficulty finding work in 2014. The song by Christina Aguilera, A Poor Man's Tiffany, is as maudlin as it is the opposite of not maudlin. Watch!
If there is anyone out there who still doubts that America is a place where all things are possible,
and I will stumble and fall. I'm still learning to love, just starting to crawl. Say something, I'm giving up on you. Anywhere I would have followed you.
Millennials' disappointment with Obama has been widely reported, but it should be noted that President Obama feels millennials have let him down too, as this video clearly shows.
President's spokesman describes the president as extremely frustrated and disappointed by younger people.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
I know that people are angry. I sympathize with that.
I'll be the one if you want me to.
Nobody ever did that for me when I was in school.
Anywhere I would have followed you.
It is disgraceful, and I will not tolerate it, period.
Say something, I'm giving up on you.
I want them punished.
Katherine, it seems that both sides are equally disillusioned. But do you think the video by the young Republicans captures the mood of the disillusionment of that particular generation?
I guess a lot of young people were super excited about Obama. I think it was going to be this huge party, like a Jay-Z concert with confetti and caterers, and you have to be a basketball player to get invited to that party, as it turns out. It's out there. But it seemed a little weird that this was supposed to be what a breakup looks like.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of the normal breakup stuff. Nobody was crying in public or, you know, calling their mom and saying, this is because you did this, that he broke up with me, or binge eating, drinking. None of the, like, normal breakup activities.
Yeah, or like going into the closet with a pair of scissors and cutting up the clothes.
Confessional T-shirt.
And then taking it and throwing it out the window.
The normal stuff. So it took me a while to figure out what was going on.
No one was stalking.
Yeah,
there was no stalking.
Yes, there's no hang-ups.
No rageful behavior, crying, but not in public.
Yeah.
So none of
But what it had was the gravitas of that sort of majestic Native American littering commercial.
Oh, yes.
A single tear past a hipster glasses. I think that's what they were going for.
I thought it worked, though I believe that you deserve to be crushed. if you feel that strongly about a politician.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's the lesson that they should learn.
Yes.
Perhaps they will learn to do some things for themselves instead of outsourcing the
Yes.
problem solving to the federal government.
Does that work? Do you think
We can
that
hope.
does that speak to anybody new?
I mean, I think they can be applauded for not having picked a song that was cool like 4 years ago. With
Yeah.
college Republicans, you always want to hope for the best, and I think this was pretty actually well executed.
Yes. Joni, have
I was gone for 2 days.
Jan. Would you say the video was good, bad, or pineapple?
Pineapple would be an excellent chaser for that disgusting shot that would. No, I don't. Here's the thing, though, with millennials and who let who down, let's say, we never promised anything that wasn't delivered. So if this is like a relationship, he's that guy that used we a lot.
Right.
Promised lots of things, vacations even, and didn't deliver.
Right.
And then we feel like a fool for having believed it. So I think that the whole like breakup metaphor kind of works.
Yeah. It seems like you've had some kind of intimate experience with this.
With Obama, no.
But I mean, just in general, is this something that happens a lot?
You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it.
Right. Andy, thoughts on this? What's the real story?
Well,
what's the real story?
The real story is how well those people aged.
Yeah.
They started out, and then 6 years later, they didn't look a day older.
That's
so
amazing.
Good for them.
Well, Obama was good for their aging process.
Obviously, yeah. I'll be honest, I was prepared for this to totally suck, and it didn't.
Yeah, it was good.
I don't think it's going to change anyone's mind. I don't think anyone's going to watch this and say, oh, that's so true, I shouldn't support Obama anymore. But it's not an embarrassment, which, as you kind of put it, this is a huge victory.
Right.
Considering how Republican and conservative videos usually turn out, the fact that this didn't suck and actually was pretty good is amazing.
Well executed.
Yeah, I think it's good, and it's also good to see these folks emulate those on the left. The left have been doing this for years. Finally, people are figuring it out, I guess. Right?
Maybe I can learn how to handle my next breakup with class.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
I don't think that's ever going to happen, Katherine.
Well,
I
you
like
know,
the
this-
insight that we
maybe.
got.
Yeah.
Do you have posters of your boyfriend on your wall?
No, I just pictures I go through on
Right.
the internet and cry, just the normal stuff.
Sure.
guys.
Yeah. Picking at that scab, as I like to call it. Should dames play different games? Girls get pushed into softball instead of baseball, which makes us wonder,
Is this sexist?
yes, sign is back. Look at that beautiful thing. An op-ed piece in the New York Times, aren't they all, laments that after middle school, girls face huge pressure to play softball instead of the far tougher baseball. Anyway, schools claim the game is equivalent to baseball and thus complies with Title IX, which protects equal access to sports for boys and girls. But Emma Spahn writes that it's actually a completely different sport, quote, with different pitching, underhand, different equipment, including a larger ball. She concludes, what if we just admitted that softball and baseball are not, in fact, separate but equal, but entirely different sports? There is no rational basis to claim that girls can't throw overhand, run 90 feet between bases, or handle a hard ball. But there is no reason, but sexism to prevent them from doing so. Meanwhile, another group is clamoring to play hardball.
I want you back.
Stupid robots. MCAT, it's called softball for a reason. And it's called hardball for a reason. Is this just the way the sport reflects the natural biological makeup of man and woman? And shouldn't we rejoice in it?
Look,
that's a hypothetical question.
I hate not to say that the New York Times is totally insane. The headline's dumb, but I do think when I played lacrosse, I used to dislike the fact that women's lacrosse was very different from men's lacrosse. And
Say it, we're in America, it's called the cross.
Yeah. The cross.
Yes.
And on this front, the problem is if you're going to argue that softball is soft, someone has to tell the women who play softball that.
Yes.
And I'm not going to be the one delivering that message.
They are tough cookies. I would never play them. I've seen them. They can throw that ball hard.
Who likes tough cookies, though? Soft cookies.
Soft, delicious
are
cookies.
so better.
I meant, but tough cookies, I meant metaphorically, you crazy ladies. No, but it's true. So those are real, honest-to-God athletes. Yeah. I would not mess with them at all.
Well, they're pure. Many of them love that sport, so I'm not going to be delivering that message.
No. What about you, Katherine? AJ Spalding once said baseball is too strenuous for womankind. Are those words as true today as they were in the 1500s?
I'm glad someone's finally bringing this up.
Yes.
I played t-ball when I was a kid.
Right.
And I used to repeatedly hit the T instead of the ball.
Yes.
And everyone thought I was incompetent or had a spatial disability. But really, I was just protesting against this injustice.
Nice.
Fighting the patriarchy that was going to force me to play softball. So I'm so glad somebody finally wrote 1 million words about this very important issue.
Yes. Joe, you know, the writer notes that both men and women swim, they ski, and they snowboard, they run marathons, and they sprint. They both play tennis and soccer and basketball. These are examples of equality, I guess. So shouldn't women and men play the exact baseball-type sport?
I mean, I don't see why not. Have a men's team and have a women's team. Like they
But
do
women
for
would prefer
basketball
softball, wouldn't they?
But some people might want to continue to play softball.
Yes.
So I don't understand who's getting all up in arms.
Well, this is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Serious problem.
I think at times like this, it's important to look to the 1989 documentary A League of Their Own.
Yes.
To figure out where we go from here.
I mean,
Yes,
as
I
long
love that
as I
movie.
can continue to eat cheese fries and drink beer during a game, I don't really care who's playing.
Yeah, can you throw overhand?
In 4th grade, I got 3rd place in the girls' softball throw. We were throwing overhand, though, so it just confused me for life.
Really? Oh, that's too bad. Andy, can you throw overhand?
Yeah.
Not really?
Yeah.
Good job. What do you make of this? Is the writer sexist by saying that softball is a lesser version than baseball?
That was my question.
Oh, really? I'm sorry.
I don't really think she was saying softball is lesser. I think she was just saying it was different and shouldn't be considered separate but equal. Right?
But I don't know.
Really?
But I think by the PC standard of like sort of modern PC sensibilities,
Yeah.
it could be considered sexist.
I guess.
Softball's
It seems to
lesser
me,
than-
I don't know, if girls want to play baseball instead of softball, yeah, let them play baseball. I
I'm
don't
kind
see
of
what the problem
on
is. Have both and see if there's enough
You
people.
can't have both. You can't, Andy. That's the way it works.
Greg,
It's
today's
a
modern
zero-sum
woman
game.
can have it all.
No,
Maybe
they can't
you didn't
have
get
it all.
the memo.
They can't have it all. They
Maybe
can't.
you're
I can
stuck-
raise a child, have a
No,
job, and
you're
play
stuck in
baseball.
back-
No, you can't.
You're-
What do you-
Look,
I'm going to leave the
shut
baby.
up,
I'm going to leave the
Draper.
baby in the dugout.
You can go back to your little Mad Men days with your booze.
Things
in your
were better back
office
then.
and smoking your
You could
cigarettes.
drink in
and
the
whatever.
office.
Yeah, well, you can't anymore, pal.
And the kids were happy.
Wait,
Now
you can't drink in the office?
Well, except,
Well,
yeah. You proved that wrong many times. All right, we've gone nowhere. He'll give you gas and a picture of his ass. The Seattle anesthesiologist, aren't they all, has had his license suspended for allegedly sexting during surgeries and sending naked selfies to patients. He looks like such a nice chap. Arthur Silberstein, if that's his real name, and Andy, I'm guessing it is accused of repeatedly sending improper texts while he was the responsible gas passer, including one operation in which he sent 45 explicit messages. The Washington State Medical Quality Assurance Commission says Zilby also improperly accessed photos of patients for sexual gratification. I'm against that. And one sent a selfie of himself wearing scrubs, with his genitals exposed. Zach Braff did that a lot.
Yeah.
I believe we have tape of him soliciting women online. It's basically porn for him.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
He can't tell the difference anymore, and it's easier. Rather than go out and find a bird, just watch it on all the old bird porn. It's affecting all animals. MCAT, what's wrong with people and animals?
I don't know. It sounds like sexting was the least of his problems here. But
Yeah.
on one point, there's this charge of engaging in intercourse at the hospital. And I want to refer to another documentary, Grey's Anatomy, which shows me that is not an issue. So that charge can be dropped, and we can move on from that one.
Sex in the hospital is totally okay if everybody's beautiful. That's the rule. It's true. And alive. Conscious, and you are coherent and saying
I'd go with and or.
And or,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
and or. Katherine, on the other hand, apparently nothing bad happened during these surgeries. Maybe he's just so awesome at his job that he can sex during it.
I was a little thrown off by them saying 45 text messages like it was a lot of text messages. I think probably my sent to receive ratio would probably make me cry going by that. But I guess who are these women who are sexting somebody if he's like needing to sex while he's cutting up a body? That's the only creepy thing. Like sexed on the bus like everybody else.
Yeah, but not while there's somebody under the gas. I guess he's the anesthesiologist. which is the guy that goes like this. Which is very important, Joe, because if you do that wrong, you'll kill people. But anyway, if this guy gets his license back and he becomes a doctor again, will you marry him? Because technically he is a doctor.
Oh, man.
It is your dream.
Anesthesiologists make a ton of money.
Yeah,
very true.
That would help me out a little bit. Oh, the thing about this, though, is that those phones, the bacteria on them,
yes.
You're taking that into a sterile, like, surgical room. That is my biggest problem with this whole, the sexting, texting, whatever. It's the gross phone.
That's
and
a good
doubt
point.
He sanitizes it.
That's a good point, because I doubt he's washing that down with alcohol. Nobody does. And I see what they bring. Every guy brings their phone into the bathroom, which makes it a magnet for human feces.
Disgusting.
Which is the name of my memoir. Andy, go ahead and defend your new hero.
I will. Look, he did some bad stuff. You probably shouldn't be texting, period, during surgery, whether it's sexting or not. And I think pleasuring yourself to hospital pictures of patients
is wrong.
Probably should be frowned upon.
Yeah.
But he did prescribe OxyContin to patients without making them go through the process of being evaluated. So on balance, I think you'd have to say he did more good
He's
than
your
bad.
dream doctor.
You know, I just you got to look at the big picture here, folks. You guys are focusing on small things, and I think larger picture, kind of a hero.
Set him free.
What is the evaluation for OxyContin?
I don't know. I don't know.
Don't they just say no?
Yeah. I also one of the texts he supposedly sent during surgery was, quote, "I'm hella busy with C-sections."
Hella busy with C-sections.
That's a sext.
Yeah.
Is that a sext?
That is so hot.
You don't know. He might have been selling beer at a local baseball park.
Oh, you might be right. Yeah.
C-section is
he
like
was
right.
also a racist. Also, they added at the end. They're like, P.S. Also, he was a racist.
And other stuff.
And other stuff.
Wait, was you? I missed that part.
Yeah, there's just thrown in there.
Okay. He's also,
Yeah, that's pretty much all there was to it.
Also, he said hella busy.
Yeah, I don't
which,
like
as
that.
an adult, probably shouldn't do
I
that.
like. The other point I just want to make generally is that we're in a revolution. It's the technological revolution. What are you doing?
Revolutions are scary.
They really are, but this is more of a metaphorical one. So the Industrial Revolution, you had all this machinery, and it was fantastic, but people kept losing their arms. It'd go flying off into a thresher. So that people would have horrific injuries. Now, it's like the same thing, but it's your reputation, your character, because you're operating this machinery, and it's every bit as not every bit as dangerous, but it has as much power as, say, these giant farm machinery, because you don't know how you're using it. A cell phone is basically a thresher for your reputation.
Well, and if you lost an arm, how would you sext?
Well, there you go. That's a good point.
Well,
I wasn't going there.
Isn't this what Siri is for, by the way? You can dictate to her. The person is unconscious. Dictate to Siri.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he
the
was
surgeon
using his
hears
hands.
it, but
Maybe he was doing hands-free sexting during surgery.
He must have pissed one of the women off, though, because we don't know how he got caught.
Yeah.
Right.
But clearly somebody turned him in.
Yeah.
He probably sexted the wrong person at the wrong time.
Or was like,
Blame
my
the victim,
mother's
Andy.
getting
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
C-section right now. Which hospital are you at?
And also, he's a racist.
All right, enough. Coming up, the apocalypse. I know when, but you'll have to send me $1 to find out. You know the address. Why is everyone upset with a newly crowned Miss USA? Well, it happens to all of my exes. Stop calling me. She took him to bed. So to Canada she fled. A 47-year-old mother, aren't they all? From Florida, aren't they all squared? Sentenced to 30 years in prison after having sex with a 16-year-old, has now been granted asylum in a place called Canada. Not sure if it exists. In 2010, Denise Harvey fled the U.S. to Canada alongside her husband and son, how loving, to avoid the impending jail time for sleeping with her son's friend. Harvey argued that the 30-year sentence was, quote, cruel and unusual punishment, end quote, MCAT. After going back and forth on what to do, Canadian authorities decided to allow her to stay, noting that the sex would not have been a crime in Canada, where the legal age of consent is 16. Good to know. I believe we have the steamy love affair caught on tape.
Wow!
That really wasn't it. Joanne, should she have been granted asylum, and what message does that send to other teachers who have consensual sex with their 60-year-old male
Well, now
subject?
I'm worried about all the Canadians. She's going to go down to 15 now. Because 16 is no longer a challenge.
That's true.
And I don't know. It said that she moved there with her family.
I know.
Her husband and son.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But her son, What son would not be mad at their mom for like that? Talk about embarrassing your kid.
family because
Yeah, because mom picked up your buddy.
Mom, again, really? God.
Now we have to move again. We have to move from town to town. The kid's never going to make any friends, or he's going to make a lot of friends. He's going to make a lot of friends. Katherine, okay, this is where I understand why she should have gotten asylum. Am I missing something here? Did I read this too fast? A sentence was 30 years for this? I mean, it's obviously, I don't know. I just find that a bit heavy.
I think Canada is the natural place to go. Canada is the party bro of all the countries, right? We got crackhead mayors. Windsor, the entire city is built on the money of drunken 19-year-olds from Detroit who go there to drink legally. I know I did it when I was 19. So, of course, 30 years, or you can go to Canada and get a high five.
Yeah. I think there has to be an in-between there, Mary Katherine.
No, those are the only two choices.
Those are the only two.
Yeah. Party bro country, right?
Yeah. So Canada's harboring one of our fugitives. Should we go in and should we trade for her?
Let's give him Bieber in return.
Exactly.
In our zeal to empty Gitmo, just send a couple on up there. But I do have a sort of a question. If it was a male perpetrator and a 16-year-old woman, does this set the precedent for asylum for them, and would they be okay with that as well?
What you're talking about is that it is this reversal that nobody likes to admit is true. And every time you do, you go, no, it's exactly the same. But it's not, because 16-year-old boys are different. They just are. I don't know a 16-year-old boy. Well, let me just end that sentence. I don't know a 16-year-old boy.
When I talk to a lot of 16-year-old boys about who they would have sex with, what they tell me is...
Yes, there you go. Thank you for that. Complete it so I don't have to. That it's... Oh,
I don't know. You're the one who's talking only 16-year-old boys.
No, I was saying hypothetically they don't really exist. Andy, should she be extradited back to the U.S.?
I'm kind of torn on this. I do think 30 years for having sex with a 16-year-old boy sounds excessive. The court documents show there was no evidence that sex wasn't consensual.
Yeah.
So that's which I think makes a difference. A majority of states in America have an age of consent of 16. I think it's 30 of them.
Yeah.
So 30 years in prison because you were in the wrong state seems a little excessive. On the other hand, I am strongly in favor of going to war with Canada. And this is a good excuse, I think.
I love Canada. But I will say this. Consensual sex with a 6-year-old boy isn't a high standard because 16-year-old boys, well, they're 16 and they're boys. Not that I know.
Look, I understand legally the age, I guess, has to be the same for boys and girls, but you can't argue that there's not a difference.
I know, but the thing is, if you argue that there's a difference, then you're violating the modern gender politics. There's supposed to be no difference between men or women.
I was a 16-year-old boy.
Yes, thank you.
I learned how to control myself.
That's right. And you look great, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Didn't she meet him at a baseball game, too?
Really?
Maybe that's where softball came from.
We need more softball.
We need more softball.
Should have been at the softball game where she belongs.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a disturbing story. The 30-year thing bugs the heck out of me.
Yeah.
There are killers.
People who murder people.
There are people who murder people. There's a guy in New York who got out after, it was 10 years after killing somebody. People get out after 3 years.
If he were younger, I could understand it.
Yes.
16 does, the fact that a bunch of states, that is an age of legal consent, there's a big difference between a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old.
Yeah. Isn't the answer to all this Florida?
Yeah.
Florida.
But it's just because, we are so consumed by being politically correct, even in our laws, that we blind ourselves to common sense. This is a bad, unhealthy relationship, but it's not a 30-year crime.
I doubt she would have served the 30 years, though. They probably, if she didn't have a prior record, I'm sure they would have let her out before then.
Did she have a prior record?
Did she have a prior record?
I don't think so.
Again, operating on 45% of the story. That's Red Eye. We expect you to read up on these pieces, write to us, and tell us that we're lazy. All right. It's so true. Coming up, your favorite toys from the 80s and 90s. Mine was a doll I made out of a dead lizard in a ketchup bottle. I called it Lizard Dobub, and I slept with it every night. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Tonight's sponsor is Thumbnail Mirrors. Can't get enough of seeing your own face? Do you think your profile picture is hot, but hate how you look in regular mirrors? Well then, you need Thumbnail Mirrors, the latest in self-centered technology. These tiny reflections are too small to showcase your real flaws and are perfect for keeping your ego intact. Thumbnail mirrors. Tiny Coke sold separately.
Is self-defense icky or ass kicky? Feminists slammed Miss Nevada, not literally, that would be painful, after she suggested that women learn to protect themselves to avoid rape. Here's Nia Sanchez, or is it Nia? Nia Sanchez, thank you, whoever you are, who ended up winning Miss USA on Sunday night. Sorry, Joanne.
I believe that some colleges may potentially be afraid of having a bad reputation, and that would be a reason that it could be swept under the rug because they don't want that to come out into the public. But I think more awareness is very important so women can learn how to protect themselves. Myself, as a 4th-degree black belt, I learned from a young age that you need to be confident and being able to defend yourself, and I think that's something that we should start to really implement for a lot of women.
Yes. However, critics on Twitter I love that. Critics on Twitter. There's like 3 people. That's how we make stories here. We find 3 angry people. Critics on Twitter felt her message was wrong, that instead we should only teach men that it is bad to rape. Said one lady, women shouldn't need to learn to protect themselves against rape. Miss Nevada, educate and respect yourself as a woman. Hashtag rape culture. She is, yes, because she's learning a skill. Added the community manager at Cosmo magazine. A community manager, what do they have, like a local pool? I don't understand. I get that the college sexual assault problem can't be solved in 30 seconds, but still icky to pretend like self-defense is the answer. Hashtag Miss USA. You know, this is absolute bullying because it's a cute woman who has a great point, and they're like on they're directing it at her. But I want to go to our women's issues expert first, Andy.
Yes.
What did you make of her comments and the response on Twitter?
Well, first, as a patriot, obviously I support Miss USA.
Very good.
If you don't, you're not.
Very
you
good.
are not a patriot.
She's going to be your winner of the week.
Yes. As a feminist, I support Miss USA because I firmly believe that sisters should be doing it for themselves.
I like that.
Nobody is saying that the root problem of sexual assault isn't anyone but the assaulters.
Right.
Nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying the onus should be on women to defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who takes it that way is willfully misunderstanding it to further an agenda.
Exactly.
Sexual assault is a problem. The blame is 100% on sexual assaulters. But teaching women to defend themselves against it, while at the same time trying to eradicate it, is a smart thing to do. How is it not a smart thing to do?
Because, I'll tell you why, MCAT, they couldn't tweet about it if it was smart. Yes. What they're doing is they look at this and they go, and then they go, oh, men are the problem, not us protecting ourselves. Any feminist worth their salt would have said, learning how to beat the crap out of somebody's empowerment.
But here's the thing. Part of the mission here is to say we can only act collectively. Stop stepping out and acting individually and proactively protecting yourself because that doesn't help the collective. Mm-hmm. Well, it does help the collective if a lot of women learn this. And
yes.
Why are we punch shaming?
Yeah.
If you want to punch a dude and learn to do it well.
I like punch shaming. They also gun shame, Katherine. I believe that women should not only learn self-defense, but they should learn how to handle a gun because men are less likely to attack women who are armed. I think.
Well, definitely. What's their suggestion? We need to be teaching men to not rape. What does that even look like? Like, okay, here's the class. If you're gonna rape someone, don't. And that's what don't do it. People already know they're not supposed to be doing this. It implies that
we're not teaching that already.
It implies that we haven't made it clear that that's a bad idea.
It's actually an incredibly insulting point at all men, to direct it at all men, that all men have to be told this. No. There are bad men. There are bad mothers. There are bad people. You tell. You can actually tell.
Are you saying not all men?
Yes. But if you tell, if you told bad men not to rape, it's not like that's going to change their mind. They're still going to do it. You have to protect yourself and arrest these people.
Right. Unfortunately, there are dudes that don't seem to understand that if a girl is passed out, you can't have sex with her. Mm-hmm. Apparently,
name names, Andy.
Apparently, there are guys that stupid that they need to be taught that, which is unbelievable, but it's true.
This woman even checks awareness, and she puts out some pieces before she goes to self-awareness, to self-defense. So why can't this be a sufficient answer? She's not abetting rape by defending herself.
This was an almost perfect pageant answer.
Yes.
When I first heard the question that Rumor Willis asked, I didn't even know what I would say because that's one of those things where like, you really asked this right now? Okay, let me scramble.
Let me just remind everybody here that you were once Miss New York, so you claim. We haven't any evidence of this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. And so in that time, you have to figure out, you have to make your answer make sense for everyone while also putting your own sort of interest and background into it. So being that she has studied all of this because she used to live in shelters with her mom and she wanted to learn how to protect herself, she wanted to implement that in there. And so the only thing that I think she should have said is, my heart goes out to any victim of sexual abuse, and then she would have gotten the whole crowd to love that answer.
I just think the phrase rape culture is kind of offensive because what does that mean? Like, if you are a rape victim, you weren't raped by a culture. There's not this like overarching culture.
Yeah.
It like takes blame away from the actual rapists.
I think you're right, and
who
also
are the horrible people.
But it's also part of the culture. Where people keep adding culture to things.
Everything.
They add it to everything, and it's like, and all it is it makes the person espousing this seem like they're more educated than you are. So you could say you can complain about, you can defend her, and I could say, well, you don't understand rape culture, Katherine, and you should take more gender studies
also,
classes.
by the way, this woman, she's not a sociology professor.
No.
She's not. She's giving an answer at a pageant.
Yeah.
I mean, give her a break.
Yeah.
Won't help anybody if they're asked about trans issues.
Now she's on Media Week, though, so she'll be on lots of news thing talking all about this, and she can formulate the perfect answer that makes everyone happy.
But here's another point that we didn't discuss. What is a 4th degree black belt? Because I am so confused by all the black, it depends where you go get your black belt, right? And some guy will give it to you right away, right?
I think there are like real ones, and there are like these
not real
factories
ones.
that,
Yeah. So that's another thing.
Like
Make sure you have a real black belt. I bought one out here in the village.
Yeah.
And apparently I couldn't beat up anybody with it. But I looked great in the bars. Yes. Sad but true. All right. I love her. She's fantastic. I got to take a break, but don't think of leaving me now. Here we go again. There it is. The book, Not Cool. It's #1. Nowhere. Order it on Amazon.com. It was up to #5, but now it's somewhere, who knows. Autographed copy, you can still get them, Gutfeld.com. And wouldn't you want to look at this again? There they are. Whatever you call it. Modeling. What were the best playthings from the 80s and or 90s? That's the subject of tonight's
Red Eye Debate 2014, live from the Red Eye Debate Center.
Yes, and now you can vote on which sign is better. Just dial 1-545. All right, welcome to tonight's Red Eye Debate, live from the Red Eye Debate Center. I'm Greg Gutfeld, host of Red Eye Debate. Tonight's Red Eye Debate, we're coming from Bayside, California. Go Tigers. As a reminder, please refrain from flash photography. But as always, we do encourage flashing. EarthPix.com, a website, or so they claim, released a list of the 11 most popular toys from the 1980s and 1990s. Making the list? I've never even seen that before. Apparently it's a glowworm. Then there are these things, which go by the name Transformers. I believe they were movies before there were toys. Nintendo Duck Hunt. Don't say that fast. You could get arrested. LA Lights. These are some kind of shoe. These are pogo balls taken from actual pogos. Roller skates. Who uses these anymore unless they're sad and homeless? Slinkies. Colorful and cute. These are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And oddly, the Walkman. And who can forget head lice? Oh, yes. They kept me company. Now, we here at Red Eye have decided to put together a list of our own. Take a gander, gander takers. Not really so much toys of my childhood, just hobbies I engaged in through my late adolescence. Anyway, Andy, are you upset that your imaginary friends didn't make the list? Captain Sparkles and Johnny Doorod?
No, I'm kind of glad that I get to keep them to myself, Greg. Can we all, first of all, can we all agree the Slinky was, is, and always will be a garbage toy? It does nothing. It does absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
It is pointless. How is the Walkman a toy?
No, it didn't make any sense.
It was like a revolutionary thing for music. It wasn't a toy.
It didn't make any sense. It was.
Well, those sneakers weren't a toy.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
I guess maybe they play. Maybe it had something to do with the age group of adolescents at that point.
The thing is, I realized while watching that the three women on this panel are too young, probably, to remember these toys, and we're too old to have played with these toys.
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
I just applaud the narcissism of my generation for thinking roller skates and slinkies are toys of the 80s?
Yeah.
Well, maybe
that is not true.
Roller skaties, as I like to call them, or roller scabies. Maybe they came back for a brief period of time, didn't they?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. There was a show with girls in roller skates. I can't remember what it was called.
You thinking of Boogie Nights, Greg?
No, yes, that's it. It was a show.
Yes.
Yes, when that fella had died.
Yes.
Charming man. R.I.P. Katherine, any favorites that were off the list?
I didn't really play with toys. I like to just kind of run around and bark and pretend I was a dog and eat food off the floor, or like...
You were one of those weirdo kids.
Or like sit in my room and think of a bunch of lies that I could tell other kids so they would think I was cool. I did that a lot. Lying's free. It's great. I told them I had another room in my house where I could go into it and turn into a dog when I come out. I really wanted to be a dog.
No, but there was a girl in my class from like around 6th grade who decided she was a dog.
Yeah, okay.
And she would walk around on the floor.
It's not just me. It's
not just you.
Cool.
So that means she's kind of like you now.
Yeah. She must be great.
Yeah.
She must be doing
She's
great.
my age, so she's 50. So who knows? Maybe she has a lot of dogs.
I always wanted a Play-Doh Fun Factory.
Oh, Play-Doh, yes.
Those were amazing, and I asked for one all the time, and I never got one, so I assumed it was very expensive. And then I went to the Walmart like 3 years ago, and it was like $6.50.
But that was $6.50 was a lot of money back then.
It really was.
True.
It was. But the upside is when you get to be my age, the bathroom becomes your Play-Doh Fun Factory.
You're welcome.
What?
You're welcome.
Joey, toothpaste. You squeeze the toothpaste out, you brush your teeth. Joanne, are you old enough to played with any of these toys?
I'm a child of the early '90s. I was born in the late '80s, but I didn't start playing with stuff that I couldn't choke on until later. No, Pogs were really big with my age group.
Yeah.
Also, anyone remember the rubber hand puppets from Pizza Hut?
Oh yeah.
Get with the pizza.
Yes.
If I had known before this segment that I'm the subject matter expert, I would have really.
That's why you have a kid.
Well, no, I was a child of the 80s.
Oh, yeah, but you have a kid now. Are the toys okay now?
She doesn't really play with anything yet.
Yeah.
I deprive her.
Pogs always sounds like a slur.
It was so
Check out
fun,
those
though.
Pogs.
They were just little circles, and I think you could play with them, but no one knew what to do.
Nobody.
And everyone wanted a slammer. And that sounds offensive.
My favorite toy was the Dirt Clod. Because Dirt Clod was free, and whenever somebody was coming through the park and you picked it up, you just threw it at their head.
Learn how to lie. It could have been anything.
Yes, look at this lump of gold. Yeah. Yes. All right. Well,
That's how you become popular in the first grade.
Exactly. And also how you get a therapist by second.
The
best toy, Greg, is your imagination.
Yes, that is true.
Also, a bag of broken glass.
That's true. Don't eat it, though. All right, coming up, Taco Bell reveals its new item. Let's hope it's a bigger bathroom. And if you got a video of your animal doing something, foxnews.com/redeye. Don't forget, you're going to see Andy on The Independence Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern on Fox Business Network. Coming up tomorrow, we got Brooke Goldstein and Remy Monasafi. I said it.
E-Block. Last story. That's the last story.
2 foods in one, twice as yum. It's a burrito, a quesadilla. It's actually a perversion of both. I speak of the Quesarito, seen here, which on Monday became a permanent menu item at the Taco Bell. What did I say wrong?
How can you say quesadilla and then not say quesarito?
Why, what is it? Quesarito, is that what he said? Anyway, it's a burrito jammed with rice, chipotle sauce, reduced fat sour cream, thank goodness, plus beef, chicken, or steak. Then it's wrapped in a quesadilla. I bought 2 last night, smeared the gooey center all over my chest. Quickly around the horn, Katherine. Amazing. Smush it together, new product.
This is disgusting. This is why we need to bring back fat shaming, I think, because people need to respect themselves a little bit. After this, I'm going to Taco Bell. I see anyone order this, I'm either going to hug them or I'm going to hit them in the face, depending on what kind of love I think they will respond to. And tell them they need to respect their bodies.
Oh, I disagree.
This is disgusting.
Andy, it's beautiful.
Look, if you're eating at Taco Bell, you're probably not thinking too clearly anyway.
Right.
Should
So
slap
what
everyone,
difference
like,
does it
got
make? Well, plus, this is Taco Bell. This is American Mexican food. You get cheese, meat, lettuce, tomatoes, and sauce. Put it in some kind of doughy shell. Whatever shape it is, give it a different name.
Yeah, I love it.
What difference does it make?
Get a pizza, French
It's
fries,
7
yeah,
ingredients, 4 applications. Taco Bell will always come up with something brilliant. Right, Joanne?
Oh, yeah. I'm buying stock in this company. Always something new.
Yes, always something new.
great.
Yeah.
But you know, what happened to that little dog?
Yeah, what happened to the little dog?
R.I.P.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
well, you know. What do you think, Mary Katherine? 650 calories, 30 grams of fat.
This is the part I have an issue with. Reduced fat sour cream.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure they got the reduced fat sour
Yeah,
cream. So then Americans will look at it and be like, it's healthy because that's reduced fat sour cream.
You hate
I am very upset.
No, are you like one of those weird
I
people?
enjoy the quesarito. I'm a fan. I think it honors your body like a temple.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
have
It's like
the
it's like
quesarito.
how often can you eat an invention?
Yeah, I mean, well, why don't we just like make it into a pizza with a French fry crust a la mode with some hot sauce on it?
Are you-
And all just eat ourselves to death.
Are you kind of a nutrition freak?
Yeah.
I think I saw you on a show once get really animated about food.
Really?
Maybe it wasn't you.
It might have been me.
No.
I get animated sometimes.
No, maybe it was somebody else. I just think it's beautiful. It just shows the incredible ingenuity of all of these great minds at Taco Bell. All right, I think I'm ending it
They're
there.
killing us.
No, they're killing us. They're making us more alive than ever. Katherine Timpf, silent P. Andy Levy, no P. Joanne and Mary. Katherine, ham. That does it for me. I'm Greg Gutfeld. I shall see you tomorrow.